Hello everyone, my name is David, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to replace missing values in your data. So in front of me here I have data in two columns. One of the columns is on price and the other one is on quantity. So as you can see, in the price column we have some missing values. There's a missing value there and another one there and another one there. So I would like to replace these missing values using a value that I'll just choose at random. I want to replace with 15. You can choose any value depending on what you're looking at or your data. Probably some of you might be replacing using a mod or a min or anything. Now, what are we going to do? There are three ways we can do that. The first way is using what we call a function. Now, for us to write our function, what we do is we are going to choose a fresh column. This one, as you can see, column F is fresh, nothing in it. I'll go to column F and I'll put my cursor over there to activate the cell. Then I'll write an equal to and I'll write an if, like that. Then I'll open bracket like that. Then I'll go to the cell, I'll go to the column rather where we have our data, and I'm going to select all the data. So I hope you're comfortable with how to select. Like for this table, there are only a few values, so my selection will be easy. I'll just go and do that. But of course, for sure, in a case where we have a lot of so many rows in this data, I'm going to do Control Shift and down arrow on my keyboard, and I'll do that, and I'll do that. Then I'll select the entire column. Then what I'm going to do next, I am going to write an equal to. What I'm saying is, if any of these values, any of the values in this column for price is equal to mean is empty. How am I going to write empty? I'm going to use quotation marks. That means empty. So I'm saying if any of the values in this range or in this column is empty, I want you to do something. What do I want you to do? I want you to replace that empty value with a 50. So I'll just type a 50 and then I'll type, okay, how about if that value is not empty? Like you can see some of these values are not empty. What should happen? I want you to leave it the same. Don't change it. So how do we write don't change it? Okay, we'll go back and select our column again, and then finally what do? We close with a bracket. Then finally we hit enter. Look, everything is filled for us. So you can see where we had an empty cell, here we have a 50, here we have a 50, and here we have a 50 as well. So finally we have replaced our missing values in the column for price. And you can choose for instance, you can delete this one, I don't know. You can come and write your price here, so that you continue to use this column, because this one is, as you can see, we no longer need it. I hope that's easy, right? Yeah, I hope it's easy. Okay, now let's go straight to the second method. So I'll go to a fresh sheet here where we have our data. Now in our second method, what we're going to do, we'll do something that is similar to the method that we used in the first place, but this time around we are not typing the if. Rather, we are just going to select. Let me show you. It's very simple. Again, you're going to choose a fresh column like this one, and then you go to up there where it's written formula, and then you go to logic, and then you write if. So you can see we are still using the same idea of the if, but now this time around, instead of typing everything by ourselves, we are going to type the same information but in a form. Simple, right? Very simple. So if you remember, what did we do in the first place? What we did, we wrote a condition, and that was if we selected a range. So we selected a range like that. We're going to do the same. And then what did we do? We said if this one was, we wrote an equal to, and then we wrote quotation marks. We'll do the same over there. And then if you remember, we had a comma and then we put the 50. You remember? But this time around, we are not writing the 50 here. We'll go to the second space over there and we'll write our 50 to say that if any value within this range is empty, I want you to fill that empty space with a 50. But what should happen if that value is not empty? If it's not empty, I want you to leave it the same. So if you remember, leaving it the same, not doing anything to it, we did that by simply selecting that column again. So here we are. Then you click OK. So as you can see, our column has been filled for us. Simple, right? Very, very simple. Please, which one do you think is easier, the first method or the second one? Please write down in the comment section below. Alright, let's go to our third method. So our third method, we're going to use what is called the Power Query Editor. That one is a very powerful tool for editing our data, for cleaning our data. So again, I'm going to use a fresh sheet here where we have our data. Now, using the Power Query Editor, in one of my tutorials, or probably one or two, I have explained how you can access the Power Query Editor. For us to access the Power Query Editor, in the first place, we need to prepare this data by putting our data in a table. As you can see, our data is, of course, it looks like it is in a table, but Excel doesn't recognize this one as a table. So we need to put our data in a table. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by selecting anywhere, any place, any cell inside our data. And then we're going to type Control T. The moment you type Control T, Excel will select our data for us, asking us if we should include all these cells within our table. Now, like for me, I want to include both price and quantity within our table, so I'll leave it like that. I'll just go and click OK. So you can see our table is ready. Now that our table is ready, we are ready to import our table into, or we are ready to load it into what we call the Power Query Editor. And how do you do that? It's very, very easy. You're going to go up there on data, and then you go to that icon that looks like a table. You click it. The moment you click that table icon, Excel will automatically load your data will load it into the Power Query Editor. So as you can see on my screen, it's taking a little bit of time, but it's opening right there. So as you can see, our data, we have the Power Query Editor, but our data is not here yet. It's taking a little bit of time, and I'm choosing not to cut this because probably this could be one of the things, or you're also going to experience, of course, depending on also the specs of your machine. All right, now our data is ready. So you can see that we have our data loaded into the Power Query Editor, and we have price, and then we have quantity. But now look, there's something here. You remember previously our data, our empty cells were just empty like that, and nothing was written on it. But here we have null. Can you see? Our empty cells now are written now. So what it means is, this time around, we will not identify our empty cells as empty using you remember we use quotation marks. We are not identifying them using quotation marks anymore. This time around, we'll identify them using the word null. So let's go straight and fill these empty values. So to do that, we'll go up there, add column, and then we go and choose conditional column. The moment we choose conditional column, we are also going to have another dialog box which is there for us to fill, add conditional column. And how are we going to do this? It's very easy. This space here, remember what we're doing here, we're trying to create a new column again. Like you remember in the first place, we created a new column, a fresh one. Now we are also going to create a new column where we're going to fill our values. So we'll go there and write the name of our column. So I'll just leave it as custom, but you can choose to change it. And then I'll go there. You see we are having the same something like a function, if function. So what are we going to do here? We'll select, there is a drop down menu here. We're going to select price because that's where we have our missing values. So you select price here, you will not change anything, equals, and then here you write if our price, any value in the price is equal to, you write null. Remember in our data we're having null, so you come here and you write null. Almost the same way, because that time in the first place, the first two methods rather we used quotation marks, but here in our data we are no longer having empty like that, we are having null values. So here you write null. Now what should happen if those values are null or they're empty? I want you to fill those spaces with a 50, so I'll type a 50 over there. And then finally, what should happen if those values are not empty, they are not null? What should happen? You remember we want them to remain the same, we don't want them to change. So what we're going to do is you select here and you say select a column, and then you go here on that drop down menu, you select price again. So what we are saying is in this column for price, if any value or any cell in there is empty, I want you to replace that with a 50. But if it's not empty, I want you to leave it the same. You see, leave it the same way, don't change it. And then we go and click OK. So you can see we have an additional column here which has been added, and all the null values have been filled by a 50. Simple, right? I believe this is simple. It took quite a bit of a time to explain it, but the procedure is quite very simple. So you can choose which one you think is easier for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel and also click the notification bell so that the next time we drop another video, you'll be able to be notified. Thank you so much.